South Korean director Jang Jae-hyun gained a lot of attention with Exhuma in 2024. It was a spectacular horror epic which I had made a review for Lights Out, but I am not sure the release of that video as it could still be in a burner. Jang's sophomore directorial feature, Svaha The Sixth Finger, delved in the proliferation of religious sects in what I suppose a fictitious version of South Korea. Such sects, or what many would label as cults, was not just a problem plaguing the Koreans, and in this climate these days of online scammers, it was easy to trigger audience to naturally root for the protagonist. The movie started with a prologue of the birth of a pair of cursed twins. Coming at the trail of the first omen, seeing what transpired on screen really can elicit an equally icky response. The twins' family, whose fate turned topsy-turvy, was to be the main resolution of the plot. However, the Act 2 of the story was focused mainly on Pastor Park, a chain-smoking priest who made a living exposing religious groups or cults that would do more harm than good for his followers. Therefore, it seems like Park was doing God's work, except he was more complicated character than a saint. He was hired to uncover a Buddhist sect by the name of Dong Bang-gyo and had an inside man to give him the lowdown of what's going on within and slowly uncover the secret behind the sect and the creator. This was a thrilling ride of a classic detective procedure feature. With a nicely wrapped up mystery and the dynamic of the people doing the investigation, audience will gobble this up. Of course, the investigation was never going to be easy, especially with the might and the power of the people behind the whole fracas. But for once, the police force in this plot was not incompetent, nor were they there as convenient stumbling blocks for our protagonists. At this juncture, you will find Pastor Park to be very familiar. Actor Lee Jong-jae is perhaps one of the most recognizable faces in Korean entertainment scene, and a decorated actor who globally gained fame from his role as Song Gi-hoon in the intriguing drama Squid Game, and now cast as the lead role of Seoul in Star Wars series The Acolyte. Pastor Park oozed charisma, but for most of the plot, he was like a conduit to the audience as the layers of mystery with Dong Bang-gyo was uncovered. The supporting cast, such as his sidekick, his sassy assistant from The Office, or the savvy monk, perhaps have stolen some of his limelight, but that did not take away the fact that he was a solid anchor as the male lead. As I had not watched his first movie, The Priest, I felt that director Jang got a knack to carve out a brilliant suspense thriller with horror elements from both this film and Exhuma. Therefore, if you are looking for a traditional spook-a-minute horror movie, this might not be the one for you. That said, from the onset of the scary birth scene to the imprisonment of the monster child to how members of the sect have experienced from their abhorrent crimes they had committed, there were some scary visuals that could not be overlooked. The whole story of the father of the sect and how he made use of Buddhism teachings and the concept of the four heavenly guardians to accomplish his ultimate mission was intriguing. And the revelation of the ploy from the leader of the sect as well as the major swerve was enthralling and highly rewarding. The title Svaha was suggested by a friend to director Jang, which had its roots to Hinduism, yet the ideology of the Hindu god had its tatters to some of the actions and repercussions of the characters in this movie. As for the six finger part of the title, it played an important crux in the revelation of the plot, and despite the fact of polydactylism or having more fingers or toes was a common genetic mutation in our real world, it was still creepy to make it a key supernatural element. I also found a lot of parallel with directors Chen Guofu 2002 Taiwanese horror film Double Vision, which measure up in my personal pedestal of horror movies of all time, so it would be considered an accolade for this movie in my book. I have read that Jang and his crew had to fight sub-zero temperatures during the majority of the filming of this movie. The extreme coldness do add to the dreary nature of the storytelling, especially the final act, which was predominantly shot externally. I don't know how Svaha was received by the Asian horror fraternity, or with the horror fans from elsewhere, but if you appreciate Exhuma, do give Jang Jae-hyun's earlier film a poke. I think most of you will enjoy it dearly. I'm awarding 8 out of 10 for Svaha The Sixth Finger. Please like and share if you like this review, and don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you enjoyed such bite-sized horror reviews from a non-Western perspective. You can check out my earlier reviews for the likes of The First Omen, as well as a double bill feature of Infested and Stink from the windows appearing on the screen now. Stay tuned for more reviews from KK.